All right, and welcome back from the episode of Carnivore Trade. Today is Thursday, Cinco de Mayo, 2022, and I think we're all going to need to have a drink after today. I probably need a vacation from this market. Look at the reversal yet again on the daily time frame here of the spiders. And I mean, going back to a couple of weeks ago, big sell-off here, then, kind of a bottoming candle, then reversing lower, then back up, and then down, back up, having a huge short squeeze yesterday. And then right back down again today. And I think we're all kind of just ready for this market to flush here and just get it over with, or at least have some type of squeeze and just pick one direction altogether, because this volatility is getting crazy out here. Nasdaq down 6%, SPY down 3%, or excuse me, 4.3%. Yeah, Nasdaq down just under 6% there as a triple Qs. You can see on the intraday, just, pretty much selling straight in the first hour. And then just kind of this grind, sideways grind to lower into the afternoon. And we are dumping out here into the 3 o'clock time frame. Thought there would be a chance that we could possibly put in, we gapped down a bit. I thought possibly if we could get a bid here, we could put in sort of kind of a hammer candle on the daily chart of the spiders. You get a little bit of a test. A lot of time when you have a big move like that, sometimes you'll gap down a little bit or open flat, kind of have a little test candle and close back up. But obviously that was not the case. All the semis did look good, this morning. If we can get the semis to come up there. There we go. So semis did still look good this morning for quite a while. And we had this little wedge breakout yesterday, but now starting to roll over here. Granted, on lighter volume. And this is one industry group that has held up a lot better than everything else. Granted, even though it doesn't look like it, this has outperformed today. So that was kind of a bright spot this morning, but just so much selling. And it's the market's just being overwhelmed right now. And if you look at the futures here, every time we've gotten to that 43.0550, 43.0350 area, so that's right here at this red bar high, we double topped it once, we triple topped it, they've sold it, and we could never get a close above that. And the bulls had every chance to rally us above that, and they've just been unable to do it. I just read on Twitter. Oh, let me find this here really fast. So there's been 2 days in the past 25 years when SP 500 futures were down 3% and 10-year Treasury futures down 1%. So those were October 9th, 2008, March 18th, 2020. And so, what this suggests is somebody might be getting blown up here. And it could signal that we have further downside. I mean, obviously, this is a nasty reversal, so it's not like going out on a limb here to suggest there's more downside. But, there were a lot of reasons to think that this market could get some type of a short squeeze or a relief rally here. But this does look like somebody is blowing up, and it does look kind of like forced selling to me here. We'll see if they maybe save it a little bit into the close here if we get some short covering. Overall, though, a really ugly look altogether. Let's look at some stocks here. Some of the big losers. Amazon down 8.25 here. I told you guys this is going to be a $2,000 stock soon, and I didn't think it would get there this quickly. I mean, it was very oversold. You got a nice bounce at the 50-month moving average there, at least for a couple of days. We cut through that weekly 200. I mean, this is just basically in free fall here. Apple. So this had a nice, this trend line has given us good reactions here. We got one there. This is the beginning. And, it looked like we were going to have one as of the close yesterday and completely reverse that. So now back below the daily 200 moving average and just Apple in a weak technical position. Shop reported earnings down 16% today. Getting absolutely roasted. ARK, which had been performing really well over the last week or so, was actually outperforming the market, and it was green when the market wasn't. And having a nice tail candle yesterday, nice bullish. Look at the volume there. Nice reversal candle, completely erased. Looks like it's poised to close below the lows there. IGV, new 52-week lows. So again, could we get a fake out on this diverging low kind of falling wedge pattern? It's possible. But we'll talk about these levels for sure in the live stream later today that I'm doing with members. But take a look here. Basically almost round tripping to the pre-pandemic highs. Another thing that's very close to pre-pandemic highs now is Russell 2000. So it's really not that far away. Here you are at 170, and we're at 183, 184. You got that 200 moving average, and then after that, you're right down there, and then there's that gap fill. So, I mean, Russell 2000 is not that far away. And again, look at this move down here, and then bearish inside bar the whole way. And we've been talking about that for months now. And looks like the Russell 2000 is ready to go down. So, you also had that pattern confirming on the monthly as well, and is now starting to break down. So, Russell 2000 weak, and looking to round trip. Now, the one small positive here, we were talking about IGV a minute ago, could this be a fake out with a divergent low? It's possible. So like looking at the spiders here, if you look at the weekly, it's not necessarily dead in the water. This looks terrible on the daily, but you got to go to the weekly time frame, and that, those bigger time frames tell you a lot more, and the bigger time frames are more dominant. So be very aware of that. Look, this is not a terrible horror show on the weekly, and let's say we could somehow close green tomorrow. We could still have a green week and, print like a spinning top doji after a sell-off. That often will precede a reversal. So it is possible that this market can, as we're, coming off the lows a little bit here, hitting that 410 area, it's possible that this market could, at least close green tomorrow and save that weekly candle. There's also an absurd amount of puts in the system tomorrow too. So we'll see if the dealers want to squeeze people out. But overall, and, another thing to say, would anybody really be surprised if we reversed and closed at 425 tomorrow? I mean, given the volatility here, that would not surprise me at all. Look at the VIX. The VIX is at 32. That can definitely happen. So crazy, crazy volatile market right now. VIX seems a little contrived up here, but, it is what it is. You got to respect the tape. Anyways, let's talk about rates here. So 10-year pushing up at 3.66 currently. Got up to 31.08 there on the TNX. So a big move here. 30-year. Wow, up to 3.2. So it's tough to say if this is kind of blow-off territory, but that does look like a blow-off candle potentially, especially there on the daily. It did come in a little bit before the close. Nothing to say it can't go a little bit higher, but it is, and I've been saying this for a couple of weeks now. It's been getting stretched, but we may be getting into blow-off territory here. On the 10-year, if you look at the levels here, we're basically into that double top now, very close. So, maybe it has a little bit higher to go here, but that's going to be major resistance if we zoom out here on the monthly. You're up there, 3.2, and you got this red bar right above that. So there's a lot of resistance up there. I mean, I don't need to tell anybody, bonds are way oversold, but, they can still go lower here. So we got to respect it. Let's look at corporate debt. So high yields here. Again, reversing all of yesterday's gains and then some. Looks just like the spiders. Maybe they save that 78 handle for the weekly close. But again, tomorrow's close will tell us a lot more about where this market is headed. And, we'll see if they give us a stick save or maybe another full-on reversal again. It would not surprise me one bit. Home builders here, again, just like everything else, this went right up to that 50 MA, got rejected. What can you say? Big reversal here. Same thing with the ITB, VNQ, back near the lows here. So that is trying to hang on, but in a weak technical position right now. Let's look over at fins. So XLF here. Believe it or not, holding up a lot better than a lot of other sectors here. So XLF is actually hanging in there okay. Comparatively, I mean, it's still down 1.5%, 3.5% here on the XLF, but it does look like it's in a little bit better of a technical position. Again, look at JP Morgan today. Still kind of holding yesterday's low. So that's actually not a terrible signal here in the short term to see that. And JP Morgan does seem to be holding up. And when I see that, generally, it is a good sign for financials. Broker dealers also reversing, but it looks like it's going to hold yesterday's low here. There's about 20 minutes left in the trading day, so we'll see if it can hang on there. And it does have that falling wedge pattern here with that 400 level that we talked about. So we'll see. We'll have to wait on pattern here and obviously the weekly close on these. Crude here, so pulling back off the highs, was up nicely earlier, but it did roll over pretty much after the first hour of trading, and now it fell back to 108.21 after getting up to 111 and change earlier today. So again, we'll see. Weekly close, does it make a lower high again? And obviously we'll have to wait for follow through there, but it did pull back off the highs. And again, crude has been in a choppy range here, but it's holding up okay for now. XLE, it doesn't look like it, but again, this was also a strong sector today, relatively speaking. But again, that trend line I talked about yesterday, we got a reaction off that. So We are holding yesterday's lows, but we'll see if, maybe that breaks down tomorrow. If the market does catch a bid, this probably will as well. But overall, energy is still a strong sector here. XOP, basically an engulfing reversal though. And same thing with OIH. That is just about an engulfing reversal. We'll see if they save it in the last 20 minutes. Nat gas here. I'm going to talk about levels here with the members after the close, but I am working on levels here. We did play KOLD, made some nice money on that a couple weeks ago, so maybe we'll look to do that again, but we got to get the levels just right, as this is a total runaway train right now. But nat gas, I think this can get up to $9, so at least that much anyway. We're at 873 right now. I mean, it's not like it's a whole lot farther away, and as long as yields are still runaway train status, it wouldn't surprise me to see that happen on nat gas. Anyway, dollar index completely reversing from yesterday, and it's stalling out at double top. Not too much else to say there. It's kind of just holding trend, and it is consolidating beneath support. Gold here, again, kind of a quiet day, all things considered. Basically just kind of a doji candle. Silver, on the other hand, it just can't get out of its own way. Total gut shot, really, a gut punch. Oversold already. Thought it would have a nice chance to bounce, and it pretty much reversed all of that today. Platinum basically is just kind of an inside day here. It's holding up okay. Palladium starting to roll over just a little bit, but we'll see what happens tomorrow. And copper getting rejected at 200 MA. So let's take a look at the weekly here. Very important to see this weekly close. If it loses 425.55, that would be a terrible look for copper on the weekly, but we'll have to wait and see the close. All right, so let's look over at Bitcoin here, because this got absolutely rocked. So we've been talking about these inside bar patterns. Inside bar tried to rally up yesterday and now getting slammed. This got market sold down to 36,200 right now. So I think this is poised to go to 34 and 32. It's going to have to hold those levels, otherwise it's going to get ugly very quickly. Same thing with Ether, although Ether is still holding up a little bit better. It still hasn't quite taken out the low. I mean, you did test it, but it's not convincingly below the low like Bitcoin is. So Ether's still holding up a little bit better, but it is in danger of losing this trend line. So just be aware of that. Not a good look here across the board in the entire market, any way you slice it. All right, let's flip back over here to the spiders. Looks like they're trying to save the close a little bit. Maybe just a little bit of profit taking, short covering going on ahead of the close here, but obviously an ugly day, ugly reversal day, no matter how you look at it. And again, we're going to stay tuned for the weekly closes. That will tell us a lot more. It would not surprise me at all to see us rally tomorrow, given the nature of this market. Anyways, guys, I'm going to wrap it up here. Come find me on carnivoretrades.com, and I'll talk to you all tomorrow.